We got a funny one for you guys today. This one honestly is kind of comical. You're gonna want to stay tuned for this one. I can't believe this man thought he's gonna get away with this. This one's good, guys. Stay tuned. What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode. In this one, we got another cheater, guys. We got another freaking cheater. This one happened in Texas at Lake Fork. I fished Lake Fork before. I really enjoy that lake. It's fishes pretty well. A lot of big freaking bass down there, guys. You know, it's Texas. This happened at the Sealy Outdoors Big Bass Splash. This was technically an amateur tournament, but it was the world's largest amateur tournament. They give out prizes hourly, cash prizes hourly. The grand prize was a Ram truck and a new Triton boat and $7,000 in cash. So this is an amateur tournament, but they were giving out some pretty crazy stuff. Can you imagine winning a truck, a boat, and $7,000 at an amateur tournament? Like, you're not even a professional fisherman. You just want a brand new truck, brand new boat, and $7,000. And they're giving out prizes hourly, so cash prizes hourly. One of the prizes they were doing was $2,500 for the biggest fish under slot. So at Lake Fork, they have a slot limit, which means, and the slot was 16 to 24 inches. So that means you can only keep fish below 16 inches and above 24 inches, and that's how the tournament ran too. So you couldn't bring in any bass in that slot. And they were giving out a $2,500 cash prize for the biggest bass under 16 inches. So basically the heaviest bass under 16 inches was going to win $2,500. It's a lot of incentive to want to fish this tournament. I guess for some people, it is incentive to want to cheat. And coincidentally enough, the guy who cheated, his name was Terry Keith Long. Same last name as Mike Long, which I did a video on. I'll actually go ahead and put a link in the description to that video. They have the same last name, and this actually happened around the same time as the whole Mike Long scandal. I think it was a little bit before it, maybe. But old freaking Terry, came up with an idea, and I honestly don't think this man. I don't think this man planned this. I think this was just kind of like flying by the seat of his pants type thing, because he didn't really think it through too much. Old Terry decided he was going to win. He was going to win that $2,500 for the underslot of big bass by trimming the freaking tail of the bass. So old Terry caught a big old fat, probably like 20-inch bass. 20, 21-inch bass. And he decided he was just going to trim the tail. He was going to cut the tail with scissors. And, oh man, Terry must not have had, he must not have participated in arts and crafts when he was a kid, because it was pretty freaking obvious what he had done. As soon as he pulled the fish out, it was like a 6-pound bass that was supposed to be 16 inches. And you could see the little stubby tail. You could see, he did try to shape it to make it look like a regular tail. But the only problem is you could tell exactly what freaking happened. Now, honestly, I don't think that this is just so freaking ridiculous, and it's just so stupid that I don't think that he went to that tournament that day knowing he was going to cheat. I think he caught a big bass and was just like, I'm going to cut this tail. He probably had some scissors sitting there that he uses to cut his line or something, and was just like, I'm going to cut this tail and I'm going to win that $2,500. I think that's what was going through Terry's mind, and I don't know. I don't know for sure. Oh my goodness. But yeah, if you actually catch one in that slot limit, it has to be immediately released. And that's not just per the tournament. That was per Texas. You had to. So that right there is he already broke a law. I'm sure cutting the tail, he's breaking the law. And then cheating. So you can't be doing that stuff, Terry. You can't do that. If you cheat, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. All these guys get caught. But yeah, as soon as he pulled the fish out, everyone knew something was up. They're like, look at that freaking little crudely shaped tail that's, like an inch thick, and it's supposed to be like 4 or 5 inches, So basically, the tournament directors called the game warden. Game warden shows up, and they're like, yo, Terry, what the heck's going on here? Terry just freaking cracks, just caves, admits to trimming the freaking tail, and he got charged with a felony, guys. So again, everyone's saying you can't get in trouble for this stuff. Dude got charged with a felony. He had a $25,000 bond. His bond was $25,000. This according to this article, that is saying bond. So that means some people use bail and bond wrong, so it could have just been he paid $2,500 and got out. But according to this, $25,000 bond, which means his bail would have been $2,500. That is freaking crazy, guys. But yeah, guys, he was actually indicted, charged with third-degree fraud at a freshwater fishing tournament. So it looks like they didn't even get him for the other little stuff like trimming the tail and all that. That's all illegal too. You can't do that. Can't do that. What's so crazy is he thought he could get away with this, because I've seen bass can lose their tail, especially when they're spawning and stuff. You can see their tails get all chewed up and kind of torn, and their tails will be smaller. I actually caught down on Gunnersville. I caught a really big fish. It was a kayak tournament, so it was measurement. It was 23 quarter-inch bass, but you could tell it was missing like an inch of its tail or something, just from like I think spawning. But like the tail's like shredded though. Like when it's natural, it's shredded. You can like see like it's like red. It's got like maybe some blood on it. You can tell like when it's a natural tail that's been like just from rubbing on rocks and stuff. This like you could tell he had cut around the edges trying to make it look like a normal tail, which no, like it was so obvious. Can you imagine that poor fish after the tournament when he released it trying to swim, it trying to swim with no tail, like. That's horrible. That fish was probably like, why am I so slow now? Freaking cut its tail. Yo, his mugshot too. His mugshot, he looks sad. Like he knows he messed up. I don't think he realized how much trouble he was gonna get in until he was arrested. His mugshot, he looked like he was crying. I'm not gonna lie, he looks like he was crying. I actually can't find anything whether or not he was actually sentenced. Like he probably did some kind of plea deal or something. I'm sure because I can't find anything on that. I can just find that he was charged with fraud, like, which is a felony, and he had to pay his $25,000 bond. Judging from his mugshot, I think old Terry learned his lesson, guys. I can't find anything else on him either. I don't know, guys. I feel like all these fishermen, like once you get caught cheating like that, like especially if money's involved, I feel like you should be blacklisted. You should be never allowed to fish another tournament in your lifetime. Like it shouldn't be. And if you're actually doing something to where you're hurting the fish. Like, even in this case, like, he mutilated that fish. Like, yeah, that tail's going to grow back, but still, I think you should probably lose your fishing licenses. I mean, at least for, like, a period of time. Like the last guys I covered, they weren't allowed, they lost their fishing license for 5 years. I mean, I just can't believe this man thought that he could just trim the tail, show up with his big, fat, 20-some inch bass with a little tiny tail, and I think that was going to fool everybody. Like, I don't know why all these people think that they can just get away with this and no one's going to question it. You're going to bring some ridiculous stuff to the weigh-in. Like, there's going to be at least somebody in that crowd, one of them other anglers is going to call you. You're going to get caught. And then, like, a lot of these guys just cave. Like, as soon as he got questioned by the wildlife officer, he was just like, yeah, I did. Like, he just caved. But again, I don't think this is a different incident. This one's kind of comical a little bit because like it's just so ridiculous. Like it's so obvious what he did. Like I just can't. I'm trying to imagine this man pulling his bass out. Like it's huge. Like everyone else got their 16-inch underslot basses, and that's like 2 pounds maybe if it's real thick, 2.5 pounds. And he pulls out like a 5-pounder with no tail. Like, That's so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous to think that you get away with it. But yeah, guys, comment below. Let me know what you think about this. This one's more like kind of funny. Like it was for smaller price. It's only for $2,500, but it's just so funny. And for $2,500, you just got charged with fraud, dude. It wasn't even worth it. Like you just cheated for $2,500, and then you had to pay at least that in your bail. Because again, I don't know if those articles used the bail and bond wrong. But like, ended up this. Oh man, I'm sure he learned his lesson, guys. He learned his lesson. This one was kind of funny. But yeah, guys, comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you want me to cover next. I've got like hundreds of suggestions already. I've been looking into them. This one was just so freaking funny to me, and there's actually a mugshot, like the picture of the tail and everything. I just thought it was freaking funny. I'll actually show you guys like a picture of the tail again, and then I'll show you. Here's a bass that I caught with like a normal tail, just in case you need like a reference point. Because I know I've seen some of these comments, like some of the guys in my comments and stuff, like actually don't fish. So just for reference point, I'll show you like what a normal bass that size should probably look like. Because I'm assuming that if he cut the tail the way it looked, I'm assuming he cut it at least 3 or 4 inches off. So I'm assuming that fish was probably about 20 inches and 5 poundish area, 5.5, yeah, probably 4.5, 5 pounds. And here's a recent bass that I caught that's right around 5 pounds. You can just like see the difference in the tails, like it's so obvious. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time.